Applications of evolution, the emperor penguin. Emperor penguins, being the largest living penguin species, come in generally at 3 foot 9 and 66 pounds. However, they can reach heights of up to 4 feet and 100 pounds. Their distribution is circumpolar, meaning that they generally live near the poles, and in this case, the South Pole. However, this has not always been the case, as I will be discussing later in this presentation. They prey primarily on krill, fish, and squids, and their primary predators are leopard seals and killer whales, while the babies also have to worry about squaws, which are a type of seabirds. Their current world population is sitting at 595,000, and they are currently classified as near threatened. Shown on screen is their taxonomic classification. Emperor penguins breed and raise their babies in some of the coldest and harshest conditions on planet Earth. They breed from April to December and almost exclusively on sea ice near the coast of Antarctica. The breeding colonies, however, can be up to 200 kilometers away from the open sea. Emperor penguins always breed during the Antarctic winter, laying their eggs in May. After the female lays her egg, she passes it off to the male, who keeps it warm by tucking it under a pouch of skin under his feet. He bounces the egg there for about 64 days, during which time the female travels to the ocean to hunt. The male huddles with other males in his colony, and they help each other stay warm while they fast, incubate the eggs, and wait for their partners to return. The colony's females return around the time that the eggs hatch with bellies full of food to feed their young. They take over caring for the hatchlings, regurgitating the food that they caught, while the males travel to the ocean for their first meal in more than 100 days. For the next 50 days or so, the parents continually switch back and forth, one hunting while the other stays back and feeds the baby. Due to their uniquely cold and harsh living conditions, emperor penguins have a thick layer of fat acting as a layer of insulation. Their black and white coat offers camouflage protection while they are in the water. When viewed from below, the white blends in with the white of the sun, but when viewed from above, the black blends in with the depths of the ocean. Their feathers are also packed densely, allowing for increased hydrodynamics, but also allows air to be trapped in between the feathers and their skin to allow them to shoot out of the water faster upon exit. In addition, they also have stiff, webbed feet, making them even better swimmers. However, these feet work against them on land and cause them to stumble frequently on ice. Their wings are also incredibly stiff, as their elbows and wrist bones are almost fused to the flattened radius and ulna bones. This allows them to be used more effectively as paddles, but the rigid, non-air-filled bone structure also allows for the bones to withstand the high pressures of the deep sea. Adaptations to the cold include a smaller head and beak and a rigid tail, which allows the penguin to balance like a tripod, all in an effort to reduce the surface area that comes in contact with the cold ice. Their tongues are also barbed to hinder a prey's escape. Priscilliforms are the earliest common ancestor of emperor penguins and other seabirds such as petrels and albatrosses. The split occurred 70 million years ago in the Cretaceous era. To this day, penguins still have vestigial structures from these birds in the form of wings, now being used as flippers in the water. The Waimanu is an example of both biogeography and evolution following a mass extinction event. This penguin's fossils, found in New Zealand in the Waipawa River in the Canterbury region, dates back to 61 million years ago in the Paleocene era, a time where South America and Oceania were all connected to Antarctica. This makes it one of the oldest penguin fossils to exist. It was buried a short 4 million years after the mass extinction that killed the dinosaurs, showing a very rapid evolution in terms of geological time. This penguin is also very different from other penguins and birds at the time, by having structures and traits that are very similar to their modern counterparts. It could almost be deduced that this penguin was the first modern penguin. Echidipes are an example of adaptation, specifically adaptation to a change in the environment. It lived 36 million years ago in Peru and is part of a family of penguins called Paleodiptinae, which are penguins that were abnormally large compared to modern penguins, which will be discussed later. It is characterized by a long beak and a chunky neck, the neck being a result of a thicker cervical column, and scientists believe that these traits existed because of their hunting methods, spearing their prey. The long beak would make spearing viable, and the thick cervical column allows the penguin to protect its neck and spine from the impacts of spearing other larger prey. Nowadays, emperor penguins have none of these features, but instead have a barbed tongue, indicating that prey got smaller, therefore eliminating the need to spear it. The reason for smaller prey could be due to changes in the climate or a decline of a consistent food source. The family of Paleodiptinae, including Echidipes, also had semi-functioning elbow and wrist joints, something that modern emperor penguins have lost through millions of years of living an aquatic lifestyle, as these joints would make the flippers less effective in the water and being a worse swimmer was disadvantageous to their survival. The Inkayaku penguin is an example of fossil records, specifically unique fossils being used to reveal an interesting past. This penguin lived at the same time and place as the Ichodipes and also belonged to the family of Paleodipteni. Paleodipteni penguins grew up to 5 feet and weighed well over 100 pounds, dwarfing the modern emperor penguin by over a foot. Its fossils included preserved feathers, which is very unique, and it allowed further insight into how the penguin looked and lived. Using the melanomes found in the feather, it was found that these penguins had a reddish brown and gray coat, had densely packed and stronger and more streamlined feathers than previously believed. This proved that penguins started living a predominantly aquatic lifestyle far earlier than scientists had originally hypothesized. The emperor penguin coat color and feathers have since evolved for the better as they can now camouflage and be more hydrodynamic in the water. As proof through its unique fossil records, the Inkayaku penguin has been a pioneer for these traits. In conclusion, emperor penguins have evolved in many different aspects to make them more efficient in their cold aquatic lifestyles, whether it be the coat color, the stiffened bones in the flippers, or the barbed tongues. These traits were all taken on from aforementioned ancestors in an effort to help these penguins survive as they moved into colder climates and the supercontinent started to break apart, separating them from their other warmer climate friends in countries such as Peru and the Galapagos. As climate change and global warming continually affect their habitats, adaptation and variation will be inevitable. Only time will tell how the emperor penguin will evolve in the future.